Gavin, thanks for joining us ahead of Monday night's game with Crawley Town. Had a little bit more time to prep for this one. How's that helped you and the team?
Yeah, it's been good. We have had a bit of a few days off initially, which was good for recovery and just to refresh mentally. And then training. We haven't had a good training block for a few weeks now, so we've got some good training in and starting to prepare and focus on our next games. And yeah, it's been excellent.
Of course, it's a hectic schedule, the Christmas calendar. 5 games in 13 days. Do you feel like you and the squad are well poised to take on that challenge?
I do, yeah. I think we're really looking forward to it now. I think we've had this week's come at the good time to have a little bit of a break, and 5 games in 13 days or whatever it is. The squad is building in terms of personnel. We're getting more players back that were injured, so that gives us good depth for this period, and I'm really looking forward to it. I know the players are.
To go into this run of games off the back of 6 successive victories and some top performances as well, do you get the sense there's some real momentum behind the team at the moment?
Yeah, I do. I mean, 6 wins in a row is really encouraging, and I think in every one of them we've earned the wins, and we've looked good in periods. Maybe not the whole game, but in large periods of all those games we've looked good and played well. So we have got momentum. I think you're only as good as your next game, so it's focusing on, right, okay, what do we need to do in this one? Make sure we're humble but confident, ready for it. So we're in a good place, and hopefully we can keep that run going.
Just 3 goals conceded in those last 6 fixtures. I know you've said you felt like we're a lot more solid defensively now. Have you had to change or even minor tweaks in that period to achieve that?
Not really. The principles have been the same. We've obviously tweaked Christian Bielik's position slightly within that back line. That's probably coincided with some of those figures. I felt in the main we were good defensively throughout the season. I think throughout the country in terms of chances conceded in any league we'd be in the top 2 or 3 teams. So we've been pretty solid, but there were a couple of games where we were losing more to counter-attacks than normal and things like that, and I felt we've controlled the game really well defensively. So yeah, I think we've made a few little tweaks, but the principles have remained the same.
You've said throughout the season we have no divine right to expect to turn up and win a game, especially not taking any opposition lightly. What's your take on Crawley Town as an opposition and the threats they pose? Yeah,
they do pose a threat there. From what I've seen them play against oppositions in preparation for other games. I've obviously analysing them now. They're a good footballing team. They try and play football, even if they're getting pressed, they'll continue to play. They try and pressure the opposition. They play with similar type of principles to us, and very good going forward and creating chances. So different to a lot of League One teams, I would say, but a good side who I know is going to pose us a challenge, so we need to be ready for it.
As we have sort of approached that halfway mark in the season, how pleased are you with how the team have adapted to all sorts of challenges and different styles of opposition that you've come up against so far?
Well, we have. I said to the players today, we know what League One is now. We've been here long enough, so we know what. If we didn't know, or you didn't know, then you should know now that it's a physical league. You need to be up for the fight. You need to be winning the duels and aggressive in everything that you do. And then, obviously, our style is to try to control the game as much with the ball and be attacking and press. But we've had to overcome all different challenges. Very direct, physical teams that are excellent on set pieces, teams that are good footballing sides with technical players, teams that press us aggressively man to man, teams that just sit on the edge of their box and don't attack. So we've so far had everything. We've faced everything, and we've had some setbacks, but we've overcome the different challenges in general. So that gives us good evidence to go back to and say, right, this is what we need to do, and these teams do this to us, and this is what we need to do here. So yeah, we're going to need that, because judging by the next 5 games, if I think about the games we've got coming up, they're all slightly different teams. So how they play. So we're going to need to use all the experiences we've gained.
Yeah, touched upon it there a little bit, but you've spoken previously about all the work that goes into preparing for the opposition and the challenges they face. How do you go about doing that with such little time between each fixture?
Well, I try and get this week's quite good for me, because I've got a bit of extra time to look at a few games ahead. I try not to put too much in my head about future games, but I can have a good handle on what the 2 or 3 games down the line is going to look like. But yeah, try and do as much as you can in this period when there's a high volume of games. Just get through as much work as I can to make sure that I know the opposition really well and therefore the players know them well.
Just some housekeeping in terms of the injury situation. It's fair to say Emil Hansen, Scott Wright and Alphonse Samson, is it likely or unlikely we'll see them before the turn of the year?
Yeah, so training, they're all kind of building up a little bit of training, but whether they get back into games before the new year, not too sure about that, but they're all close as such, and they're moving in the right direction, and they're not sat in the treatment room, not going outside, so they're building up.
Yeah, and Lyndon Dykes obviously had to miss out through illness. Came at a bit of a frustrating time for him, having put in a couple of really encouraging performances. Is he back fighting fit now?
Yeah, he's had an illness that really knocked him, so he's built his way back up again over the last week or so, which has been important training time for him. So Lyndon's fit and available, yeah.
And then in terms of Alex Cochrane with a laceration on his foot, which was obviously concerning at the time, has he been assessed any further? Is there a time frame on his return? Again,
he's another one now. He's able to do a little bit more outside, kind of controlled training, and then he's building up day by day. So Alex is, he's fully fit as such. It's just the cut that he had on his foot, but that will be he'll be able to go again within a few days.
I know both you personally and the football club are now meticulous in their preparation. January's on the horizon, be looming after these 4 games. Has there been any ongoing conversations about the movement that you can expect in the transfer window?
Yeah, we always meet with myself and Craig Gardner and the recruitment team. We always discuss where the squad's at, looking forward to future transfer windows to have a good picture and make sure we're planned for what we need to do. But there's nothing definitive that we've set up for January. We're in a good place in terms of the squad. We've got good depth, and I don't see too much happening in January.
Gaffer, thanks very much.